Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out the official reveal trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, which is not actually remake in the terms of that they're remaking the game, but that it's actually the continuation of the series, and that the remake was them being all kinds of like triple layers of conspiracy deep on us, and they're like, yeah, you just thought we were calling it remake because we remade it, but it's not actually that. It's more than that, and we're gonna prove it to you when we name the next one not Remake Part 2 but Rebirth. And so yeah, all of that said, here we go. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I have some thoughts on what the name could mean, but I'll save them for after we watch the trailer. Now, I guessed before this one came out is that if Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 was even announced at this Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary, that it wasn't going to be much. My guess was maybe some voiceover, like someone talking, like maybe Aerith or somebody talking about some mystical shit, some sort of abstract view, like the live stream flowing around, and then a fucking logo, right? And nothing else, which we got the logo, so I was right on that one, but we'll see what else we got. All right, we'll see what else we got. If there's anything more depth in there. So is Macmillan part of this naming scheme? I don't know who that is. Or do you mean Maximilian? In which case I don't think so, but I don't know who Macmillan is.
What we've done, that's set in stone. The past is forever. But the future, even if it has been written, can be changed. So focus on the future, not the past.
Oh, we saw a picture of Meteor. Oh, this is new.
What he started. He wants to reclaim his birthright.
Can I get some fucking pixels, bro? Holy. No, I can't. Okay.
Planet with Genova at his side. I saw you lying there. I figured it was too late.
Wait, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter?
You were here with me 5 years ago. Where are you? What happened to you?
I'm trying so hard to find you.
Sorry. Feel like I failed you.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I wonder if there's a note to the viewers on the actual video. Focus on the future, not the past. Well, at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, they basically give you a nod that to temper your expectations for the future games, of that it's not, they're going to do more of what they want and not necessarily a one-to-one of the original game. Please don't change the one thing I'm most excited about Remake. Are you talking about a particular person being impaled? So, you know, here's the interesting thing, and the end of this is kind of actually, like, this trailer is actually spoilery of the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake's extra DLC, in which you see that Zack and Cloud, in some form, in some universe, make it to Midgar, or he doesn't die where he died originally, which is odd. Right? It's strange. It's weird. It's like, okay, well, what does that mean? And, well, we don't know. We don't know what that means, because that was part of the naming idea of Remake, is that the world has been remade. I say that without knowing actually that that's what's happened, but in essence, that's what we're talking about, because there are hints that people know what is supposed to happen. In terms of, like, this is the flow of time, the flow of destiny, the flow of fate. And there are things trying to keep that the way it is, and people that are aware that it is supposed to be a certain way. And obviously, it doesn't stay that way, which changes the course of, well, time, fate, and destiny. And that's where that whole idea comes in of the next games could really be whatever they wanted. I do still strongly believe that at their core, these games will still follow a lot of the major beats of the original game. I don't think that they're going to go off on some random, wild other direction. I don't believe that in the slightest. But we do have new wrenches into the story. Zack was gone, wasn't he? Yes. That's why Cloud got his Buster Sword to begin with, if I recall. That is correct. And that also raises the other question of, like, if they technically both survive, in Remake, you do play as Cloud with the Buster Sword, and Zack is not around. But at the end, you see that there might have been a potential that Zack survived. But was it in your current dimension or a different one? Is there different realities? How do we tell? What do we do? What do we know? And that's part of the trouble of trying to figure this out. Now, And the other part of that, though, is that with this name, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a very interesting approach, okay? Because there's a lot of things that Rebirth could mean. Because there's a lot of things involving birth in Final Fantasy VII. And the ones that I'll touch on the most is that, so we're going to be looking at the original story here. Okay, and in the original story, we have the rebirth of Jenova. Jenova gets reborn, and it's actually one of the main bosses that you fight in the original game. And Jenova's rebirth takes place at the City of the Ancients, where a particular event that a lot of people are wondering how is going to be handled, it happens at. In fact, it happens literally, like, right before. No, right after that event happens, you fight Jenova Rebirth, or Jenova Birth, I think is what it's called in the original game. But there are more things involving birth in this game, because, for instance, before the main game, Zack and Cloud get shoved into a tank and are filled with a bunch of life stream and Jenova cells and stuff, and they manage to burst out of their life stream wombs, and that's what you see right there at the end, where Zack and Cloud are limping their way towards Midgar, was them trying to make the journey literally halfway across the world after breaking out of there, which led to essentially the birth of who Cloud is today, because he was a very different person before those events. And on top of that, at the end of Disc 1? Is it Disc 1 or Disc 2? Disc 1. It's at the end of Disc 1, I think. 2? I don't know. Anyway, at the end of one of the discs of the original game, after the events of the City of the Ancients, you go up to the northern crater, go through Gaia's Cliff, through the Whirlwind Maze, where the first, interaction with the true form of Sephiroth takes place, and it's where Cloud gets his mind fucked over and he gives Sephiroth the black materia, in a way leading to the rebirth of Sephiroth himself. There's a lot of spots that this game could cover. Now, it does make me believe that this game is going to cover up to around where I just mentioned, which is also very mind-blowing for me, because Final Fantasy VII Remake only covered Midgar, the first 4 to 6.5 hours of the game, depending on the pace that you're taking, of the original game that took around 40 hours to complete. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 was 10% of the original story. A lot of actual story does happen in Midgar, but it's interesting to me that of your total playtime, only about 10% was covered by the first game. Now, again, a lot of playtime in these JRPGs is battles, right? I don't know how long a playtime for Final Fantasy VII would take if you just removed every random battle that existed. It's probably not very long. And so I'm guessing it's maybe 8 hours, maybe 10 if you removed all of the random battles. Like, go ahead and keep the boss battles, but everything else, if you remove them, it's probably like 10 hours long. So that would mean that part 1 is like, a third, which is reasonable. Now, but from Midgar, I'm just going to go real quick. You go to Chocobo Farm, Mithril Caves, Fort Condor, Junon, Costa del Sol, Coral Town. It's called North Coral. Golden Saucer, Gungaga, Cosmo Canyon, Nibelheim, Rocket Town, Wutai, Temple of the Ancients, I can't remember what the name of the excavation site is called. the Forgotten Forest, the City of the Ancients, Icicle Inn, Gaia's Cliffs, Whirlwind Maze, well, Northern Glacier, Gaia's Cliffs, Whirlwind Maze, bam. All of that, that's what I like, and I'm probably missing something, by the way. Everything that I just rattled off, that's all between the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 and where I'm guessing this one ends. It's a lot. It's an absurd amount, which is why initially I was like, man, I don't think that they will go that far. If they do, wow, power to them. Although at the same time, it makes me very, very nervous about the quality of those locations in terms of how much time, or if some of them are going to be kept, cut. They mentioned new places are going to be added, such as like the Benora, which was a city in Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, the prequel to Final Fantasy VII, because they're wanting to incorporate parts of the compilation. So now that is the mod. I wonder if it exists. What mod? So we getting 15 Final Fantasy VII games that are Final Fantasy VII? No, actually, with this, they confirmed the game's going to be a trilogy. Which is interesting also because if we continue to look at the location-based progression after the spot that I said, there's only Medial. And in terms of new locations after that event, the only new location is Medial. A mod to remove all random battles, probably. I'm also sure someone's made a YouTube video of it too. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really curious what Rebirth means. It could mean so many things. We also see at the end of this trailer the reality where Cloud and Zack survive, because Cloud should have been dead Zack should have been dead at that point. They get cut off by some soldiers. Zack doesn't make it. Cloud survives, and that's what mind fucks him to believing essentially that he's Zack. And so, but if that doesn't happen, if Zack survives, what does that mean in terms of the overall overarching story? It could mean so many things. So many things. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what it means. Hello, Ella Hubert. I'm great. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious though. I'm looking forward to it. I know that it's winter. Next winter is what it says. And just to let you know, that means 2024. Next winter. Winter is December 22nd through March 22nd. So you will see this somewhere between the end of December 2023 and like late March 2024. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It's not as close as next winter might initially make it sound like. But yeah. Anyway, what did you think? What are your thoughts so far on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Are you excited about it? Are you new to the Final Fantasy VII universe? Because one of the things that I thought was really interesting was one of the directors, the creative director, Tetsuya Nomura, said that they are building Final Fantasy VII Rebirth so that if you wanted to start on Rebirth and you never played anything else in the Final Fantasy VII compilation, old, new, or otherwise, remake, original, etc., you could. And I'm like, whoa, okay. If you say so. So leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you want to catch up with me on other platforms, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. Speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we watch together live on stream, because I stream 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I'd love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel, but we're actually going to go check out more Final Fantasy VII shit right now, and if you want to go catch that on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you, and enjoy.